1779, good luck. We get white for this one, so we'll play knight f3 as per usual. So our opponent, nearly 800 games of Rapid, relatively new account. We've done, not what, just over 1100. Goes d6, d6, let's play d4, just play a normal d4 game. I might still do the normal set that I go for, but that is, he's likely to take, and what do I want to do? I could just switch to e4 maybe. Let's play an e4. So it's a mix of a d4 and an e4 game now, with a setup like this, but we're just going to develop the bishop into castle and guard our pawn if we can, or chuck it forward if we can't. He's played knight up, so I guess we want knight up to guard the pawn. Yeah, I'll just play knight up to guard the pawn for the time being. We might prepare to chuck it forward, but I really want the bishop up here first. Okay, we've managed to get that done. So now we can castle. It breaks this pin. We can prepare to push the pawn on. If trade, I'm happy to play down to an endgame. So he's played queen across, which helps to cover this move. But takes here. The pawn would fall with a check. He's also threatening to capture, so I need to get castled and break this pin. So we still guard. Now we need to try and come up with a plan. We've got a natural move to hit the bishop. I guess you can drop back. You might actually want to swing the queen all the way across. In which case, knight back might be a move. Yeah, queen all the way over. I think knight back, and then we're going to force the bishop off. Yeah, he's aiming to leave the bishop there and to have it sacked. So can we counter sack, but the knight would be loose? I don't think we can. So I think we're just going to develop the bishop and chase the queen somewhere. But I might sack this if it comes under attack. We'll have to just see. Or we want to try and push forward. Our pawn's attacking on the flank, so we want to try and charge the centre. But I want to keep these pawns held back if I can. But if you push again, I might have to push just to stop black playing h3. Yeah, he's played back, so I'm happy to sack this pawn, so I'm not worried about that. Otherwise, I'll just play rook across and target this one. So if I just push up now and aim for a trade. Gotta be careful, because he's threatening to take, and get this one. But if I go here, we actually attack the knight. Lose a knight. Gain a knight, lose a bishop, gain a bishop, right? Let's just chuck the pawn up and try and figure it out, not burn too much clock. He might take here, but I think I can take this one. He might actually open things up, but if he takes, I can take back with a knight and guard this pawn. Takes here, I can take with the pawn and chase his knight somewhere or other. Okay, so he has taken. So if we go with the knight, this pawn is immediately loose. We're not going to really take here, so we really need to go with the pawn. So take and hit the knight. If now the pawn's not under attack from the queen because it's moved. If you take, obviously we'll take back. If knight in, we've got the option to take. It's very solid for black, but it's an option. And if you take here, we're just going to play rook across and try and target this pawn. And just try not to blunder the piece, but he has come forward. So if I go here takes, I've got bishop up to attack the queen and the pawn at the same time. You can obviously drop back and guard, or you can take here, but it looks nice. We've got time to think things through. We've got a potential check, so I like this move. Put the bishop on a better square. Now the queen can move over, say here, guard the pawn, attack the pawn. Then what do we do? If we throw in a check, you can go here. Take, queen takes. Not easy. I wonder if I should just chuck the pawn forward then. I like this move as a concept. It gets the bishop on a better square. It opens things up for the queen, doesn't it? Let's do it. It opens the queen up, but slightly. We might lose this pawn if takes, but it takes a lot of pressure off on the king side if he does that. Then we're just threatening to just chuck our pawns at the board. Maybe challenge to try and break through the centre while his king is still not been put safe somewhere. Okay, so that might allow me to play knight across and attack the queen. If you take, I've got the option to take back. If you don't, and say you move here. So my knight's here. If I take, you take here, it's dangerous, it's dangerous. We don't really want to do that. There's a chance to pin the queen, but I don't quite see how. What if I go here then? No, you can't go here, can you, because of my knight, but you could go here. Are we then threatening to just push the pawn and bring the bishop in? It looks tempting, doesn't it? Let's do it. I'm tempted to play this as well, but knight across is an attacking move. It hits the queen. If he takes, I'll just take back. I'd be happy if he gave up the bishop here. He attacks my queen, I take back rather than taking here. Lose a bishop, gain a queen. Lose a queen, gain a knight. It don't want to simplify like that. So if he takes, I'll just take back. He can't go here. That's what he's done. So we're going to take back. But now this pesky bishop has been shifted. Now we attack the queen. We're threatening to push our pawn on and break his defences open. So that seems like a very good move to me. But is it? Is it a good move? Because he can't take with a queen because of my knight. So here, he's probably got to take with a pawn. And then we can maybe move the bishop somewhere and double attack it. It's got to be the right move to play. Try and attack the king, opening up. But where do I want my bishop? I think I want the bishop. Right, if I put the bishop here, if he plays knight up, I can just take, right? And we cover this nice square. So we want the bishop here. If knight up, we can just take the pawn back. We hit this bishop. His king's all over the place. He's got to try and castle somewhere. We're threatening knight across to check, but if I go knight here, he's got to say rook across. Maybe castle, maybe not. So I think I should probably just take my pawn back. So that's got to be right. It's got to be right to take the pawn back and just try not to blunder these pieces. He's probably going to have to castle, isn't he? But then the king can't easily run because of the bishop. I've got pawn up to restrict this knight, or I can try and activate my rooks. I'll just click my little heater back on there, but it's actually not too cold today. It's well into spring now. So he's played up trying to develop the bishop, but he's not really got anywhere to go. If he comes here, I think we'd be happy to trade. I don't think I really want to do this and get rid of my nice knight. Well, actually, he's just blundered on. He's allowed to check. I nearly missed that. He's allowed to check. Wins the rook. Should win the game. I nearly missed that myself because it wasn't a move I was looking at. I was more looking just develop the pieces, but that attacks the rook. I mean, he could play on. He might just resign. It's in an arena, so he could just get on with the next game. Let's see. But amateur games are never over till they're actually over, really. So there's nothing wrong with playing on just in case. And my knight is likely to be trapped. I'm not likely to get it back. We'll have to see. So it could just end up being a rook for a knight, but what's he going to do? He's got two moves, so he goes that side. So we'll take the rook. Can we get the knight back and keep it? That means we probably can't, but I could take this pawn, right? So if I take the pawn, have you got a move like queen over to pin me? Then I just simply play f4. We attack the rook, or we could even check, couldn't we? Yeah, no, it's fine. The only risk is it might open up the bishop here. But we're going to attack the rook in the process, so it's got to be right to take. If knight takes, we can take. If bishop up, we just take the rook. Otherwise, we're threatening to get back, or even pin the queen would be better. Get the queen off the board. So we go here and pin the queen. And then what's he got? If he takes the knight, we take the queen. If he takes, we take back with a knight, and we've kept the knight. So that's the move I'm looking at. If he plays here, then we take, he goes here. Then the knight might actually be lost, but we're still well up, aren't we? So it's got to be the right move. It's got to be the right move. I think rook across is the right move for our opponent. That's what he's found. So can we keep our knight? I don't have to take this move. He's still not broken the pin. I'm just wondering whether I can go here and here and here, but I don't think it actually works. So I'm just going to be sensible and keep these pawns. I'll trade the queen next move. I won't be able to keep the knight. I'll just try and break his pawn structure and keep these intact. Then it'll be a rook and rook against a rook and a bishop. If the king comes this way, I'll just throw a check in. And of course, if he takes us, that's what we want, because we get our knight back into the game potentially. Say rook across. So he's got to figure out a way to keep the knight. But we've got to be a bit quicker. We're still half a minute down. We're often down in these games. So I'm just looking at this and this as my next candidate moves, depending on obviously what black does. He might even have bishop e5 here, actually, yeah. Then if I take with a queen, he can take my knight. So that might be a move, but I'd probably just take the queen, get the queen off the board. So bishop e5 might be the move for black. Or you could just take it and lose the knight, then you're just a clean rook up, aren't you? You have queen and 2 rooks against a queen and 1 rook. Or we can end up with a rook and rook against a rook and bishop. Might be better to have the extra rook, it might be. But that's probably the best move for black there, is without deeply calculating, it's probably the best move to deflect the queen and force you to trade or to take. Take the bishop, he takes the knight, and we've got 2 rooks against 1 rook. That's probably what I should do if he goes for that. It's probably what I should do. But if you trade the queen, the knight's going to get trapped, and then it's just a rook and bishop against a rook and rook. Although we'd have an extra pawn, we might be able to break the pawn structure as well, but it's probably better to have the clean extra rook. But of course, with a queen on the board, there's a bit more risk that we could mess the game up. A little bit more risk. I assume my opponent's connected to the game, because it would have brought a message up saying they're disconnected if they weren't, but let's hope they're actually looking to play a move, not just run the clock all the way down. It does happen. I played bishop back. So I played bishop back. So again, I don't have to take this move because the queen is still pinned. And you can't take my knight, I take the queen. If you take my queen, I take back. That's what I want. So I'm still looking at the simple move, rook across. And if I take here, if you take here, I take and I guard. And you can't take here because of the pin. So rook across has got to be the move, right? If I take now, you go here, my knight is still trapped. But you still can't take me. If you take, I'm happy. So I'm going to play rook across and hit the pawn. But if he goes here now, then obviously I've got to do something. I'll have to take. He's found a good move there. Because it's the same as going here, but with the closer protection from the queen. Then I'll have to take, I guess. So if I take here now, the game is just lost, isn't it? So we have to take the queen now. So we get that taken. Now I can maybe push here. Can I take here? That would blunder the game away to a nice tactic, so that's no good. So it's probably time to give the knight back and double up his pawns. So let's just get that done. So he gets the doubled up pawn. And then we'll try and pop the... actually, what I'll do is first, I'll give myself an emergency square. Now we are threatening to take the pawn. He'll have to move the bishop. And we're just going to double the rooks up and go after the pawn or something like that. Something like that. Let's go on the light square first. Maybe I should cut the king from coming across. Maybe I should have done that, but... okay, it should be fine. It should be fine. Doesn't mean we can't mess it up, but it should be good. But if I ever double up here, the king's close enough to step up and protect, so it takes a little bit of work to convert these games, but it should be good. Okay, I'm just going to launch the pawn now and try and gain a bit of space. Prepare to bring my king up. Yeah, it was a good move, that bishop there, because then you could come in here as he did, and the queen then protected it. So he's played across. Okay, now I'm going to bring the rook over then to stop the king stepping this way. Here, I guess we just counter it by stepping up. Or we can even just throw a check in, and that would win the pawn if he steps forward. So he's pushed the pawn forward, logical. So I could develop my rook here and attack this pawn. You can't then push, your bishop would hang, so rook up looks strong. If you take, I just take here, and you still can't push the pawn. So we're threatening to capture it, so that looks nice to me. So I'm going to go here and try and win this key center pawn. If takes, I'll probably just take back though. Don't take any silly risks just in case. Just in case, because it is possible to mess up. You just do a mouse up, you lose a rook, and suddenly it's a struggle. Right, so I think I should take here, rather than taking any nonsense risks of taking this one, trade, and then he suddenly pushes. Just take here. He can't push this pawn without losing the bishop. So we're threatening to simply take. The king can't guard it, the bishop can't guard it, so we should be able to win this pawn now. So which rook do we go with? I assume this one, but if I go here, he just moves the rook somewhere. So let's just go with this one. At some point we might actually take here. We might actually take. I could even check there. Takes. We collect this as well. But then we're just 2 pawns up. Okay. So we might as well guard this pawn for now while we try and figure out a plan. So he's come after this one. Logical. So let's just guard that one as well. Again, I want to try and bring my king up if I can. Keep my pawn under time pressure. Maybe I chuck this pawn up, but then they're all on dark squares, but it fixes this issue. So he's played rook across, so I'll step my king forward. Yeah, it might be worth considering giving up the rook for the bishop and the pawn. We'll lose one of the pawns and we'll just have a clean pass pawn, but it's mainly because of the clock I can think about doing that. But I think I'll just edge forward here. Just try and edge forward, eliminate some of this risk this side. I've always got rook here if I need it. So he's come up, so he's inviting us to push, so we'll do that. I'm not bothered if there's a technical mating net there, I just want to win the game. So if we go here now and down, then there would be a checkmate, right? It just fixes it on a dark square, but it gives your opponent a chance to go wrong. Well, actually, he's got this, but I can go after the king and drive him back. So I could go here and create a mating threat with here. So if I go here, it's a mate threat now. How does he defend it? Because the king has got 1 escape square. This rook cuts it, and we threaten checkmate. But I don't think there's a stalemate risk, so I think we go here and we prepare checkmate. Oh, he's grabbed the pawn. I didn't even see that. I didn't see that the pawn was hanging, so you can go here as well now. But we're going to be fine. Everything's good. Everything's good. I just didn't see that move, and now I can go here. We'll have to block. So that's cleanly winning. I just missed that the pawn was loose there. So everything's good here. Let's put the king on a light square. Blockades the pawn forever. Put that on a light square. Try and get this one on a light square. And eventually we can just sack and it's all good. Go here. He might have to guard it. Let's see what he's done. So let's come across now. How do we want to do that? Just come across, keep pressure on and just start marching forward. Because he's out of time. But now we can just take and push, I guess. Take now here. If I push, he can go here. I take, he can go here. It's cleanly winning. I know it's cleanly winning. And he's out of time, so let's just do it. Just take. You just get your pawn to this 5th rank with this position and it's a win by force. So I could calculate that out in advance. I knew that was winning. It simplified down a little bit much, didn't it? But I knew that was winning. But let's just double check just in case I've messed up, because it's always possible I could have messed up and got my theory wrong, even though it's something I think I know. They're the move times for both players, 58 moves, so put it through the analyzer, but he held on really well, didn't he, from a difficult position and down on the clock. But yeah, I was right, it was winning, it was just a winning technique, as long as you're aware of the technique and you can calculate it out. So we've made a bit of a mistake here. So something we've done round about move 46. We've made a mistake there. But we'll have a look, we'll have a look. Felt like we played a pretty decent game at our level, but our opponent held on very, very well there, right to the end. So you just simple mouse slip another day, you miscalculate that pawn technique at the end, and suddenly a straightforward win becomes a draw. So what have we done? 93 against 89. See, very good figures for both of us on the accuracy, aren't there? Just the one blunder in the game, which has been highlighted here. So let's have a very quick flick through. So we played the mix of a d4 and an e4 game, this one, a bit of a mix of everything. So here I should be playing knight forward. It's not a move I'm familiar with, but I should have played knight forward here. But what's the point? Are you going to try and sack? I wouldn't particularly want to take the bishop and open the file up, so that's why I didn't look at a move like that. But I should have done it though. That's the best engine move. Maybe you play knight forward in h4 and you plant your knight there, maybe. So we're already plus 2.3 better and building an advantage here. So this was good. He should have dropped the knight back instead of forward. The engine still wants me to play knight forward here. But this was still all okay. Now I should have played h3 to hit the bishop. So it's getting to a point where it's fine to open this up, but it's very scary if you manage to make this work. It feels like you're taking unnecessary risks, but this was good. So these moves I'm playing are all actually good here. So we've won the rook, but I had a feeling we weren't going to be able to keep the knight. And he found a really good move here with bishop back. I thought he was going to play here and do the trade. We'd be a clean rook up, but he found a good concept to go here. Then the queen guards it, so I can't take with the queen. So then I gave the knight back just to break the structure up. I'm plus 5 better, but there's a little bit of a blip coming up, so let's see. So this is all good. Then of course near the end I thought I'd spotted a mate to trap the king, and I just missed the fact that the pawn was hanging. I've shoved the pawn up so the pawn is then hanging, so that's just really careless. Yeah, I should have just thrown the check in immediately. I'm plus 6 better. Excuse me. You can chase the king away. Here, chase the king away, find another move, and just take your time, and it removes the risk. But I'm still plus 4 better here. So now we've forced the rook off. Then it comes a little bit back here when I've played what? Rook to b4. I should have just played c4. Calmly does it. So it's only 2.4 better now. But there, this is the blunder. I've pinned the bishop, and it was correct to take. Plus 78. That's a bit unnecessary, isn't it? That's just nonsense. Plus 78. So takes was correct because I've calculated out in my head the fact that I'm going to be able to get the pawns up and he's not going to be able to stop them. But it's always a risk you can miscalculate. This is what you do lots and lots of puzzles and practice for, to try and figure these games out. So you should have pushed the pawn down here. That might, see, a move like that might make a difference. I didn't see that move, so that could make a difference. He should push the pawn down. So if he plays c4, that was one move I actually missed. So drop back here or go here. They're both forced checkmate in 20, so they're both forced wins. So let's say a6, king takes, take, king across. Just move, he'll have to move, and just edge forward. So king up, king c5, then march forward a bit. You're trying to get a position with a king here and a pawn here. That's what you're aiming for. So I know the technique, but I did miss that pawn move. So we're just marching forward. He has to give ground. Then you put the king here, and that's a win by force. So that's a position that you're aiming for. And that's basically where we got to in the game, wasn't it? So, but yeah, I missed that move. And then here, all moves are fine. All moves are fine. Here. Everything looks winning. So we take, we just shepherd it. We put the pawn here, and then it's just a win by force. There's nothing that white can do. So thankfully we calculated it correctly. But, you know, one miscalculation and it could have gone wrong. But good game, very good.